All right. Good afternoon to everybody. I think that's the recorded lecture of the subject that we have learned, the French classical menu part 2, day 2 actually. What happened that I just missed the recording, so that's the reason I'm doing it on the side. So here we have started with this topic which is known as the smoked salmon. So as you can see, smoked salmon is the most expensive dish on the planet just because of not the smoking, but for the salmon. Salmon is the most expensive dish on the planet, I mean the fish, and it is only widely available on the coast of Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. Naturally, it's a native of Norway actually, okay? And apart from Atlantic and North American salmon, there are Chinook salmon, Hawaiian salmon, and Indian salmon. Obviously, the first two category are on the expensive side. That's how your salmon look like. Very easy to understand. All the salmon fishes are completely different from the others just because of only one reason, that red color meat. कोई भी fish अगर आप देखिएगा, there is a white meat, okay? But this salmon has got a red meat. The only fish in the world that has got a red meat. Now, salmon can be served in two versions. One is a cold smoking and one is a hot smoking. So cold smoking means the temperature is less and the hot smoking means the temperature is high. This is the only reason there is a smoking purpose. So cold smoking temperature, let's take a look how smoking happen. You can take a look. The fish fillets are hanging around and there is a gentleman who is actually burning this thing with the oak chips, sometime coal and all everything. So what happened in this case? All the fungus and bacteria which is there on the skin of the fish, which is like Clostridium bituminous, something like this, will going to get cleared and the fish become very much hygienic to eat. Okay, so there's a difference cold smoking and hot smoking. When you do the hot smoking, after the hot smoking, how the fish will look like, it actually not will remain as a brown color but it turn into dark, whereas with the cold smoking the actual color of the fish will remain red. This is the beauty of the cold smoking, and preferably everybody in the world use it as a cold smoke. It's a very famous breakfast preparation also in the British countries. If you go or in the five-star hotel, when you go for training, you'll be able to see on the buffet counter there is a smoked salmon. It is served with a toasted bread, cayenne pepper, peppermill, brown bread, and all this thing. Okay. Next, another traditional classic salmon is classic hodobs is crudettes or crudités, whatever it is. It is a raw assortment of vegetables. जहाँ पे आपका broccoli, carrots and all. There was a very legendary thing when in America the laborers used to start to protest against the labor law. Then there was somebody who invented the idea. So they called that, okay, you get broccoli, I get carrots, somebody will get celery, another one will get asparagus, all in raw form. And then they serve this either with the mayonnaise or with the vinaigrette, that is oil, vinegar, and lemon. So that's how your crudités look like. You can see there is a assortment of vegetable, which is baby corn, tomato, cucumber, all the vegetable gherkins and all everything, mushrooms, and everything is served with this white color uh, food, white color cream, which is known as a vinaigrette. Okay. Now we are done with all the like traditional hodobs. We're going to start with the hot hodobs. Obviously, in India, we have lots of hot hodobs like chicken tikka, paneer tikka, seekh kebab, sami kebab, pakora, samosa. All this thing is going to be an Indian hot hodob. Everybody has got a accompaniment. Obviously, all the tikkas are served with the mint chutney, whereas the shammi kebab and pakora and samosa served with the salt chutney and all everything. That's how we have seen. And the Western countries, there is something called nachos, which you'll find in the all shopping malls and all. There is a cheese dumpling. There is a like a cheese balls and all everything. Then there is Szechuan potato wedges. That's a Chinese preparation, and krumowskis, a Russian deep fried small dumpling made with the mushroom and breadcrumb. And then we also have a dim sum. Now, dim sum is basically, we all know that's this momos, which is accompanied by tea. It's very interesting to see because momo was actually originated from the Cantonese region of China, where they used to consume this with the tea. Basically, जैसे हम लोग शाम को चाय के साथ पकोड़ा या समोसा खाते हैं, same way they used to have it with the momo. Now, they don't take this with the milk, they completely black tea, basically a oolong tea, and they accompany with this thing with the dim sums. Okay. So every dish, whatever we study, please remember, what you remember is that the examples of example of the dish of the hodobs, and at the same time know the condiments. I mean, like accompaniment. He is going to serve with that. This potage is actually look like this. That's a soup, and let's take a look. How does it? So you have just listened the video. It looks like a potage, not like potage. It's like a potage. So now G is going to be turned around as a harsh. So po harsh, something like this. Types of soups and that comes under the potage are consommes, bisque, creams, and puree, bob broth, and bisque and all. Bisque is obviously made from a shellfish. That's the shrimps and all. Puree is like puree of tomato soup. Cream is cream of tomato soup. All this thing. And any Western soup in this world is served with a bread rolls and French bread or soup stick. That's very common. You have also seen in the hotel. Indian soup is generally served with a rice or papar, which is known as a poppadams. Oriental soup, which include China, I mean, like Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and all this thing is going to serve with a Oriental soup. That's soya sauce, chili vinegar, and buns. Now, cutlery that is going to be used is going to be a soup spoon and a B&B plate. And in a bread basket, we give a papar or we give a bread roll depending on the type of soup that we have. And now we go for a quiz which has already been answered. So we all know this person, but we don't know this lady. That's is basically Kuneru Hampi, the first women chess champion. The reason behind why I show this video, suppose you're going to take the order from the guest and suddenly find out that this lady is sitting in your restaurant. So what will happen? It's give you a big. Nobody in the hotel knows this thing, so you know this thing, and that's create the difference between an IHM graduate and the other people. Okay. Right. We go to the next slide, which says that Mulligatwani soup is a soup from India. Basically, it was originated from Sri Lanka. So last class we have learned from Udit, it is Udit or somebody else from Sri Lanka. It is a lentil-based soup which is served with a pepper. That's a black pepper. So what happened basically that we all know that in Sri Lanka, that's the LTT, Liberation of Tamil Tiger Forces. So why it is said it's originated from Sri Lanka? Because Sri Lanka, it's a soup of the Tamilians. Okay, it's a soup of Tamilians, but Tamil people used to live in the Jaffna island of this Sri Lanka. Now, over there, they used to drink this, make this soup actually with a dal, sambar, kind of a sambar kind of thing, and that's how this thing got originated, which is known as Mulligatwani. But today it has been christened under the name of this Mulligatwani. We all know that this flamage, that the war that broke out between the LTT and the Sri Lankan armies long years back, which was led by Prabhakaran, the leader of the LTT. Okay, that's a different story, but just to make you think interesting, I put the story in my lectures. It is served with a poppadams and in a rice or in a rice, sometime in a soup bowl. That's how it's look like. Take a look. And next we have the national soup of Italy. That's known as a minestrone, or you can say the national food of Italy. You can say accompaniment with the grill. That's how your minestrone soup look like. And here we got the pasta. यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा होगा यहाँ पे pasta. That's known as a macaroni. Then it is also served with the grilled fruits. ये देखिए grilled fruit कैसा होता है? It just look like a French bread. And then you got a pesto sauce, which is served inside. The recipe for the pesto is garlic, parmesan, cheese, parsley, and pine nuts. All this thing. Okay. So once again, you need to remember the what is minestrone, which country it comes from, and their accompaniment. Every dish you need to remember like this. I mean, each and every course, if you remember 4 dishes, that will be more than enough. Okay, 17 multiplied by 4, which means 68. That 68 dish is going to be remembered by you. Something called broshed. That's the Polish soup from the Poland in the European country. That's the beetroot flavored soup. It's made with completely beetroot. You can take a look. How does it look like? And it is served with basically garnish with a duck meat, the diced beef and vegetables. And also, instead of bread rolls here, it is served with something like this. It's known as a bushies, or which has been as something like a pastry. छोटा सा pastry होता है जहाँ पे there is a hollows, and in the hollow you add some sour cream and the duck meat. Okay, and then you cook this, serve with this thing. Finally, you've got French onion soup, or it is also known as a soup à la oignon. That's a France and meat stock and onion, and it's served with a accompaniment which is known as a French bread, which has been gratinated on the cheese. So basically, French onion soup is an onion and meat stock se banta hai, and after that you serve with the French bread. You can take a look on the screen. This pot is known as petit marmite. Petit marmite, please. That's the very French word. And then on the top of this, there is a this thing. It is known as your French bread or baguette bread, which has been served on the top. So and then you add some cheese on it, and then you gratinate this bread, Okay, salamander में डाल के आपने इसको gratinate कर दिया. And after that, what is salamander? Basically, there is a baking oven. Inside that, you put your French bread, that is a baguette and all, putting some cheese on top. And once you put it inside, then it will turn into brown color. And it has been served with the soup, which is known as your French onion soup. It's a very, very famous soup from France, and also known as a very prominent food. Like we have biryani, or we have gajar ka halwa or lassi. Same way, the same thing happens here. Right, now we go to the next slide, which says krupnik. Krupnik is another type of soup, which is vegetable and meat broth that looks like this. Okay, it's a mixed vegetable and meat, basically beef stock or something that has been used, red in color, slightly brown in color, and it is served with accompaniment, which is known as a vol au vent. So now it looks like vol au vent, but it is not vol au vent. The French pronunciation is vol au vent. So please remember this thing. How does it look like? Take a look at the picture over here, and you can take a look. This is the vol au vent, and inside that there is some cream, maybe a mayonnaise, some fruits, and then you add the chicken inside that. Okay, it's been served with this food. It's like a pastry once again, and inside that pastry you can like a small pastry kind of thing. Like you have the vegetable puff, or जैसे हमको ठेले में आपको मिल जाएगा vegetable puff or chicken puff, same like a puff. Inside that you put all the chicken, and then you can serve with the soup, right? And lastly and finally, green turtle soup from England, and that's made out of turtle meat. That's known as kachua. You know, remember this thing, kachua jalao machhar bhagao, something like that. So that's how the turtle meat has been started, and after that, this turtle meat was actually cooked and with the Worcestershire sauce, egg, flour, and buttercream. Now, Worcestershire sauce is a very interesting sauce that come from the England, and Worcestershire is a very famous place in England, known for its Worcestershire Cricket Club, where Mr. Saurav Ganguly and Yuvraj Singh used to play. क्योंकि जब पहले IPL हमारे देश में अभी आया है, but before that it was started from the England county cricket. So in the England county cricket, when it used to happen, these people used to go and practice over there, like a 2020 match. So that is the famous place for Worcestershire. Over there, this sauce was originated. Okay, and then the egg, flour, and obviously the butter cream onion. It's accompanied by lemon and poached bone marrow of beef, and it's served with soups. You can take a look at the bone marrow, which take a small, big chunk of lamb and then you eat. So nanli nahari, like an example, where you can suck the meat from the bone. It's a very spongy kind of meat that is available inside the bone of lamb or maybe in the beef. Okay, let's take a look. How does it look like? Take a look at this. That's how your green turtle soup is actually look like. Maybe served in a cup or maybe served in a consomme cup, and it is served with a soup stick that you can take a look on the other side. Okay, however, it is the served with a soup spoon, and it is a very, very famous soup from England. Okay, right? So that's what we have learned for today, and this is going to be uploaded in the my YouTube lecture platform. Take a look at it from there, and if you got any doubt, please let me know. Thank you very much.